Imagine a place where eyelashes and even blood freeze within seconds of stepping outside, where birds fall from the sky mid-flight, frozen solid, where your car runs 24/7 because turning it off means it may never start again. This isn't Antarctica. This is a permanent settlement, a place where hundreds of people live their entire lives year-round. Welcome to Oymyakon, a small Russian village in Siberia. In 1933, this place recorded a temperature of negative 96 degrees Fahrenheit. That's negative 71 degrees Celsius. Let that number sink in for a second. It is literally colder here than on some parts of Mars. So how does anyone survive here? What does a simple trip to the bathroom look like when it's minus 60 degrees outside? How do you bathe? How do you bury the dead when the ground is harder than concrete? And why on earth would anyone choose to call this freezer home? This is life at the absolute edge of human possibility. This is the pole of cold. So where exactly is this place? Oymyakon is located in the Republic of Sakha in the deep far east of Siberia. It's not near anything you'd know. It's about a 2-day drive from the nearest city, Yakutsk, which itself is known as the world's coldest city. But how does it get so mind-bogglingly cold? It's not just about being far north. It's a perfect storm of geography. Oymyakon sits in a deep valley tucked between two mountain ranges. Cold, heavy air rolls down and gets trapped in this bowl with nowhere to go. There's no wind to mix it up. It just sits there and gets colder and colder. In the winter, the sun is a rare visitor. They get as little as 3 hours of daylight. Imagine that. Just 3 hours of weak, pale light before the long, incredibly dark and cold night returns. It's home to only about 500 people, and the name itself is a bit of an ironic joke. Oymyakon actually means unfrozen water, or non-freezing water. It got this name from a nearby hot spring, which was a vital pit stop for reindeer herders centuries ago. Their animals could drink here even in the dead of winter. That same hot spring is also part of the reason a village was built here in the first place. But everything changed in the 1920s and 30s under the Soviet Union. The government was obsessed with taming the Wild East, and that meant collectivization, forcing nomadic people to settle down in one place. State-run farms were established here, anchoring people to this frozen ground. And there's a much darker, more brutal chapter to this story. Oymyakon lies near one of the most infamous paths in history, the Kolyma Highway, often called the Road of Bones. In the times of that dreadful tyrant, Joseph Stalin, this road was built to link a series of gulags, or prison camps. The political prisoners and so-called enemies of the state were used as unpaid labor. Indeed, they were used to death. Men collapsing from exposure, starvation, and pure exhaustion at a horrific rate. Now think about that. That's one life lost for every single meter of road built.
1 dead, 2 dead, 3 dead, and so the death and misery continued for 1,200 kilometers.
The permafrost here isn't just frozen ground, it is a cemetery. It's said the bodies of those who fell were simply paved over, becoming the very foundation of the road they were forced to build. But now comes the real question. What is it actually like to live there? How do you perform simple, everyday tasks when your environment is actively trying to kill you? Let's start with the home. You can't just build a normal house here. Every structure is built on stilts, high off the ground. The reason is pure genius and pure necessity. If you put a warm building directly on the permafrost, the heat from your home would eventually melt the frozen ground. Your entire house would sink and collapse into the mud. So stilts are non-negotiable. And you can forget about modern plumbing. The idea of an indoor toilet is a complete fantasy. Pipes would freeze and explode in an instant, so every single home has an outdoor outhouse. Let that sink in. Imagine that 3 a.m. bathroom run at minus 60 degrees Celsius. It's a brutal, shocking, and utterly freezing dash that everyone here has to make. Homes are heated 24/7 with coal and wood, and you'll often see a strange, persistent fog clinging to the houses. They call it habitation. Now let's talk about getting around. We mentioned cars never stop running. It's not a choice, it's a survival tactic. Turn your car off for more than a couple of hours and the oil solidifies into tar, the battery dies, and the tires freeze into perfect flat squares. Your car is a statue until spring, so they idle all day, all night, outside the grocery store, outside your job. The constant low rumble of engines is the soundtrack of winter. And if you do dare to drive anywhere, your trunk isn't for groceries. It's a survival kit. Heavy blankets, extra winter gear, a sleeping bag. If your car breaks down, you could be dead in under an hour. Your phone is useless outdoors. Pull it out of your warm pocket to take a picture, and the battery gives up the ghost in under 30 seconds. It just dies. Instantly. And for food, you won't find any fresh vegetables or a salad bar here. Their diet is almost entirely meat. Reindeer, horse, and frozen fish are the staples. And you know what happens when someone passes away? You can't dig a grave in permafrost. It's harder than concrete, so the community must light a massive bonfire on the chosen plot for days, slowly thawing the ground just enough to dig a shallow grave. It is a long, difficult, and emotionally exhausting process. So, with all this, how do people actually make a living at the end of the world? The economy here is a fascinating mix of ancient tradition and modern opportunity. For generations, survival was based on what the land provided. Fur trading is still a vital source of income, trapping sable and other animals. Ice fishing is not a hobby, it's a way to put food on the table, requiring drilling through meters of solid ice. Reindeer herding is perhaps the most iconic job, providing not just transportation, but also meat, milk, and hides. Hunting for Arctic hare and other game rounds out the traditional ways of life, but there's a modern twist. This region of Siberia is incredibly rich in resources. Some residents work for diamond mining companies like Alrosa, which operates some of the world's largest diamond mines nearby. It's a tough job, but it provides a steady income in a place with few options. And then there's the newest economy, tourism. A growing number of adventurous travelers are seeking the ultimate bragging right, visiting the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Every March, the village even hosts the Pole of Cold Festival, where visitors can experience dog sledding, reindeer races, and of course, ice fishing. Tourists flock to get their photo taken next to the giant thermometer and to say they've survived a night in Oymyakon. It's a strange form of extreme tourism, but it brings in vital money and connects this isolated village to the outside world. Beyond the shocking facts and survival tips, what is it actually like to be a person living here? Their psychology is as fascinating as their physiology. There's an immense sense of pride. Residents see themselves as uniquely tough and resilient. As one local famously said when asked how they cope, "We just dress all warmly in layers like a cabbage." It's a simple, humble answer that belies an incredible strength. They know they can survive something that would kill most others. Scientists who study the people here have found something amazing. You'd think mortality rates would spike as the temperature drops, right? But they don't, because the residents have perfected a cultural knowledge of survival. They aren't biologically different, they've just learned over generations how to exist here. It's the ultimate example of human psychological adaptation, and there are some unexpected perks to this frozen life. You never need a freezer, your porch is colder than any appliance. There are no mosquitoes, no flies, no pests of any kind. They simply cannot survive. This village shows us the incredible extremes of human adaptability. It teaches us that even in the most impossible conditions, people can build a life, a community, and a home. If you're amazed by the incredible ways humans adapt to our world, help us keep sharing these stories. Hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss our next journey to the edges of what's possible. Let us know in the comments, what's the most extreme environment you've ever experienced? Thanks for watching. See you next time.